And why was it of such great importance to Israel? Because they knew that if they had Charlie Kirk, they would have the young right-wing men. Because Charlie Kirk, he's not just a live streamer. On the contrary, he's not just a debater. Charlie Kirk has a personal relationship with Trump. Charlie Kirk is the bag man for the GOP. And Charlie Kirk runs the largest youth organization for the conservatives in America. So he's a very powerful man. He's a very important piece on the board. If you got Charlie, you got the young, you got the money, and you got Trump's ear.
I'm sick. Adam isn't right now because we haven't done our breathing exercises yet. Mm-hmm. But Charlie Kirk's passing. Nick Fuentes has a new bombshell connecting Israel, ?
And if in particular, the youth in the right wing of America becomes indifferent to Israel, then they are truly alone. They have lost China, Russia, the whole Muslim world, Europe, Africa, Latin America. Who do they got? It's just us. And what is America's support conditioned upon? The Republican constituency in America. If we're up to the Democrats, we wouldn't support Israel. If it was up to the Zoomers, we wouldn't support Israel. It's Republican boomers that are keeping it together. Without America, they are alone. And without the boomers, they don't have America. So they need the young people in America. They need the right wing in America. Do you think that's why Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million to support Israel? Do you think that's why it mattered to them so much? Netanyahu was going to open the floodgates, according to these reports, and unleash $150 million of Israel-controlled money that would probably come from America. It wouldn't come from the Israeli treasury. It wouldn't come from their finance ministry. Netanyahu would order it, and it would be Jewish American billionaires that actually dispense the cash. He would double their money. Do you know how much money $150 million cash is? Charlie Kirk would overnight become a very rich man. He could be president. He could be kingmaker. He was offered a deal. All you got to do is work for Israel, work for the genocidal state that is subverting our sovereignty and our country.
Before Charlie's passing, there was a meeting that Netanyahu had with Charlie and with other prominent figures and stuff, including big financiers. Nick. Dude, I'm so... did you...
Yeah, I heard it.
Dude, I'm sick, dude. This is rough. All right.
Cut it out and post.
All right. Let's go from the top. So Charlie Kirk had a meeting with Netanyahu and a lot of his elites that are just a part of the Israeli lobby, whether they be financiers or people in politics and stuff. They basically had a secret meeting, or then secret and now public meeting, that Nick's seeing reports of $150 million being thrown his way to basically buy his favor and his unwavering support for Israel. And he allegedly turned it down.
And why was it of such great importance to Israel? Because they knew that if they had Charlie Kirk, they would have the young right-wing men. Because Charlie Kirk, he's not just a live streamer. On the contrary, he's not just a debater. Charlie Kirk has a personal relationship with Trump. Charlie Kirk is the bag man for the GOP. And Charlie Kirk runs the largest youth organization for the conservatives in America. So he's a very powerful man. He's a very important piece on the board. If you got Charlie, you got the young, you got the money, and you got Trump's ear. Maybe you're a kingmaker. Excuse me. Maybe you're a kingmaker in 2028. That's why it was worth $150 million to Netanyahu. So they offered to give him all this money. He declined because he knew the money came with strings attached. That was a double or nothing. Look, the Zionists gave him all this money thus far. He's having doubts. Well, we will sweep aside those doubts by dropping literally a pallet of cash. Double or nothing. Will you work for us? Yes or no? He said no.
And the theory being it was, will you work for us? Yes or yes.
You're right.
Like there is no option in this timeline.
They said, come to Israel, meet with me. Charlie Kirk said no. Now he's dead. Now, what about Bill Ackman? What about Bill Ackman and his fundraiser in August? Who the fuck is Bill Ackman? Bill Ackman is a Wall Street Jewish billionaire. Do you know?
He's a hedge fund guy. He was known for making a big trade on the COVID dip. Made a bunch of money on the COVID dip.
Love that.
And I think there was another couple other notable trades that he's done. I think he was one of the guys that was trying to be like, I was a part of the Big Short or whatever. And he's just a Wall Street douche.
Yeah.
That just,
Just a billionaire Nepo piece of shit.
I don't know where his money comes from originally and stuff, but he probably, I doubt that he came from, rags to riches story.
Oh, do you know that he is friends with Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock,
Makes
the
sense.
largest asset manager in the world, managing $10 trillion in assets? Do you know that Larry Fink is going to run the World Economic Forum in the stead of Klaus Schwab, who's retiring after a Me Too scandal? You know that Bill Ackman got the president of Harvard University fired because there was an anti-Israel protest on the Harvard campus? Do you know that Bill Ackman's wife is Israeli? She was born in Israel. And not only that, but she received money from none other than Jeffrey Epstein.
God damn.
And after October 7th, Bill Ackman shifted to the right. He put $1 million behind Trump and became very active in Republican politics, even though he's a lifelong Democrat. Bill Ackman hosted the the convention on August 4th or 5th of Turning Point Influencers. Here's the smoking gun that really brings it all home. And I'm going to be really honest with you. When people said that Israel was behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, I said, don't be ridiculous. Charlie Kirk, and rest in peace, God bless his soul. Charlie Kirk, we all know, was supported by pro-Israel Jewish patrons. Until the day that he died, he never recanted his support for Israel. Publicly and openly, he defended the administration's cover-up of the Epstein files. He defended the administration's bombing of Iran. In the same interview with Megyn Kelly, he said, "You're never going to lose me. I will always support Israel." Be that as it may. After Netanyahu offered to give him all this money, and he refused, Bill Ackman hosted a event at his home where Israeli mouthpieces like Seth Dillon, a Jew, and Josh Hammer, a Jew Israeli mouthpiece working for Ben Shapiro in a previous job listing. Charlie Kirk refused to listen. He was offered a trip to Israel. He refused. When the FBI could not locate the alleged gunman on Wednesday, do you know who stepped up and offered a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Charlie Kirk's assassin?
No.
Bill Ackman.
Dude, that is crazy.
And just who do you think that $1 million will be paid out to?
The guy, so it's the guy that he was having a meeting with Netanyahu about influence and stuff, and the fact that it's still, there's no, you can't have so many coincidences.
Unless you're a billionaire.
It looks like it will be paid out to the alleged killer's father.
Crazy.
Tyler Robinson was allegedly turned into law enforcement by his father. His Mormon father, the Mormon father who turned in his gay son dating a tranny who killed Charlie Kirk, is going to get a $1 million payout from Bill Ackman, the man who, according to friends of Charlie Kirk, menaced him for not taking Netanyahu's money and supporting Israel's war in Iran. Do you think Bill Ackman is just generous? He's a vigilante?
Almost no billionaire could ever be described as generous, so I doubt it.
No.
Put another way, the Jewish billionaire that allegedly threatened Charlie Kirk, the Jewish billionaire married to an Israeli who took money from Jeffrey Epstein,
Right.
who is, by all credible observations, working on behalf of Israel in some context. The guy that apparently menaced Charlie Kirk is the same guy who will pay a man $1 million for turning in his gay son, implicating him in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Anybody find that a little bit suspicious?
It's a little sus.
This is a real tweet that Bill Ackman put out last week. He said, quote, "A number of people have reached out and or posted expressing concern that Tyler Robinson's father may collect a $1.2 million reward for turning in his son," which inspires a few thoughts. First, in order for rewards to be effective in finding criminals, the rewards need to be paid even if the recipient is a crook or worse. That said, in this case, if the father is found to have been involved or otherwise acted negligently in contributing to Charlie's death, civil litigation or criminal prosecution will reverse unjust compensation. I've also seen reports that suggest Tyler's family intends to waive its right to any reward. So yes, we will pay the reward if it is earned, to whomever the FBI indicates provided the information that led to Tyler's arrest. To me, that might be the smoking gun. That might be the connection that slipped everybody's attention. So, Bill Ackman allegedly menaced Charlie Kirk over Israel. Now Bill Ackman is paying $1 million to a Mormon man, turning in his gay son dating a tranny, implicating him in the killing of Charlie Kirk.
Pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And not to be outshined, like the bullets, what they like allegedly said, but the fact that he only shot once.
So that's the only shot he needed.
But why are there so many casings by there?
I think it would be a safe assumption that, he would miss a shot or two, right?
No, but he didn't. Like, no.
Right.
So casings are like the empty, like, so were these bullets?
Oh, the empty casing.
I thought it was empty casings, or were these just bullets that he wrote?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
So like when Luigi did it, he wrote it, he shot 3 times, and the 3 casings read, deny, defend, oppose. Because you don't write on the bullet part and stuff, it's a small bit that'll end up inside. That's how bullets work. But instead, or whatever, like this was talking about 3, I don't know if it was casings though. We might learn in a second. But that just like is a weird thing of having 3, and the guy's got a bolt action freaking hunting rifle and stuff. Imagine shooting 3 times.
Yeah. I mean,
in that situation.
I mean, when you're throwing everything on the line, you might as well just sit there and keep taking shots.
Well, because
if you miss,
even Lee Harvey Oswald with a bolt in a similar, in a bird's nest he only got off 1 shot according to the official stuff. There was no other people going on and doing anything that day for JFK to get shot like he did. But I'm saying like it just no, he only shot once in like all the filming that you can see.
Right.
So I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Weird.
Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read,
"Okay,
hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point.
Just listen.
Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Yeah, dude, I think he just didn't think he'd nail the assignment so hard first try.
Yeah, that's so great.
D-Dog.
This guy got into a absolute shouting match on Piers Morgan talking about, I didn't know. So I'm literally learning about I heard of Destiny. I heard of Nick Fuentes. I heard of Charlie Kirk, but I didn't you know what I mean? Like I've learned so much in the recent times, recent 2 months or whatever about all these figures. Just had no idea. Like Hassan Piker and stuff. I knew about him.
Heard of him.
But I didn't know much of his stuff and stuff. I learned about Destiny and he's pro-Israel.
Oh, really?
I had no idea.
Huh, I would not think that he would be. Although I only I used to watch him Twitch stream in 2019-ish.
What?
So that's my experience of him. He just seems like a normal liberal dude.
Joins us now. Destiny, you've been quite active on social media since Charlie Kirk's.
Dude, that guy right to the right of Piers Morgan looks so upset.
Yeah, he does.
He looks very Russian.
Dude, he looks like an Oblivion character right now.
He does.
Death, when Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him, brackets, crying face emojis, in response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flag.
What an ass, dude. I mean, at least he's not doing it where he's a comment on the thing. I thought that's what was going on. I think he just screenshotted this, and then it just, oh man. Is the fact that she tagged him on the funeral picture. That's kind of, but I thought he commented on her Instagram post being like, oh my God, she tagged him. He posted it on Twitter, it looks like.
Flags are half-mast in memory of Charlie. You posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every conservative debate call out I'd do in 2026 with "Don't dodge, bro." That's not what Charlie would have wanted.
He's making edgy jokes. I don't know if that's like exactly.
I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term.
What?
Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this country over the past 20 years, the majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it, everybody gets mad because they keep asking Grok about it, has been conservative.
Fair. Grok, is this real?
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
white dude.
A guy
described...
He wasn't trans. He didn't have a trans
girlfriend.
He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think he had a trans girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. It was something like Twigs. Like their last name was super weird. It was like Vance. It was like Lance Twigs was their name.
Oh wow!
It was crazy.
Could have picked a better one, but okay.
No, no. I think that was his real name.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't like I feel like a trans thing is like pick a different name.
Yeah, no, it is because then like you don't want to dead name
it's-
them and stuff is like a thing for like if they like their past life.
Twigs.
Yeah, no, it's the last name's Twigs.
Wow. That's kind of sick.
Not for Lance, and not if you go male to female and stuff. That just makes me feel like you were just built like a woman the whole time.
Yeah, probably.
You guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry. Excuse me. When?
Yesterday, he said that.
Get wrecked.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college? Not
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said
I do know
true.
the very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the event.
He hasn't made it
you
clear.
may not want to hear this.
Okay, so I'm gonna just because
leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now let me just ask you.
Not true.
Let me just
There's
ask
no
you.
way
Well,
to deal with it.
Okay,
You're living in
you're
a
accusing the
delusional
governor of
fantasy.
lying.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But
sure.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
why is it contingent on Trump? It just doesn't. Destiny just seems like he's trying to be viral. You know, I feel like he's trying to be like the leftist Joe Rogan or something. This is like his ivermectin. I don't know.
You won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why
tell
would you
his side
expect
to
anybody,
calm down?
Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't
Can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should...
Holy shit.
Huge audience of young men who listen to everything you have to say. So when it doesn't matter. You have a huge audience.
I hate when people say you have an audience. You should let them know if you're joking or something. It's so stupid, dude. If people watch a video and they believe whatever they believe, that's what happens. They interpreted it that way. I can't do anything about it. This is like the people that want to ban Catcher in the Rye because somebody said that's what fucking got them to kill some.
Yeah, that's insane.
It just what?
The same argument for like banning things like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I played that game. No, dude, blood is gross.
Because of the fact that you have a huge audience, you have a responsibility to not turn. No, it hasn't. It hasn't been broken. I actually care about the country and want to bring people.
Once, please.
Could you imagine this show just being like a full thing, just like trying to sit in here and just like, listen to?
We've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you mock his widow?
I love his gamer lights in the background.
Fine.
Why did you mock his widow?
Because she's being used as a political weapon right now
Wow.
for conservatives to continue. What do you mean, wow? She's literally doing
her husband just got murdered
on email. Yeah, and she's using
So
it to drive a recruitment.
Right?
I mean,
Hubby Wubby went bye-bye.
no, Piers Morgan is a fucking dickhead, but
Yeah, I just assume any of these TV personalities are just literally talking puppets with, some CEO's ass or hand up their ass.
well, Elon said in response to this thing of Destiny saying, you need conservatives to be, that was it. Yeah. You needed conservatives to be afraid of getting killed. I don't know. Was it in this? Because they just keep yelling and it's really annoying.
and you can't even condemn the murder. You won't condemn it.
Can't even tell his side.
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump
that
you cannot condemn the murder because you're waiting for Donald Trump to say something.
They're just out here just talking over each other.
Against Donald Trump, simply go on TV and say we all need to turn it down,
Fine.
like Biden could, like Obama could,
Fine.
like the Clintons could, like Kamala could. Why
Fine.
not?
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie
it's
Kirk?
unbelievable. I'm not the president.
Why
of the United
can't
States.
you
answer that
condemn the
question. It's
murder of
unbelievable.
Charlie Kirk?
I get
Unbelievable.
what he's saying.
You getting what Destiny's saying?
Yeah, I think I get what Destiny's saying.
And so I just feel like he shouldn't be waiting on some other person, especially like he shouldn't be saying like Trump needs to say it, whatever, for him to denounce or whatever. Because he talks politics, right? Like that's one of the big things. He tries to debate people politics and like political topics. That's his thing. So the fact that he's like, no, I need the president to do it, and then he only named Democrat, like obviously on purpose, only named Democratic presidents and said the Clintons, not just like Bill Clinton. He's saying like Hillary because Hillary could have done it. Surprised he didn't mention Al Gore in there.
Oh,
but
only.
Yeah, the fact that he's just waiting on I feel like he's just kind of doing a straw man argument. I think that's what it is. Yeah, he's just kind of annoying. Especially mixed with Piers Morgan. But Elon says, I don't think this jackass should be banned, but Amazon should stop paying him to incite murder. What the heck? Cut that out. Cut that all out.
It's gone.
Clap. I don't think this jackass should be banned, but Amazon should stop paying him to incite murder. That's insane. He's saying that it's a felony crime. And he should go to prison, and then he can return to streaming when he's done. That's hilarious. What an interesting take. Dude, what a panel. What an interesting take by the world's richest man. Did you see what he did recently?
No.
He bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock, which made his net worth go up by $30 billion because he owns like a lot of Tesla stock. And he did that after Oracle man Larry Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
He like did like a proposed deal where he was gonna like buy with OpenAI, and they were gonna buy a fuck ton of GPUs from NVIDIA and stuff, and they don't have the money for any of this, but it made him skyrocket and be briefly the richest man in the world on paper. And it was this whole dick swinging things by these like billionaires just being like, we're like just proving money isn't real.
Right.
Just that he's like, he's pledging money to buy these GPUs, which by the way, pumped up NVIDIA too. So like NVIDIA pumped up as well because they're like, oh, they're going to buy like, they said they're going to buy how many billions of GPU? Oh my God, that's such a big number. And I like money. And so they're like, we're going to buy $300 billion or some like just magically large number that's just unrealistic for anybody to even like wrap their head around unless you're one of these guys. And even then.
Right.
But then, so he did that. Larry Ellison, where he does a deal where he says OpenAI and them are going to make all these AI data centers with money they don't have to make. Like, fucking OpenAI bleeds money. They don't make money at all.
Right.
Oracle doesn't have the kind of money for this at all either. No one uses their cloud service and stuff. They have some money, but it's not like that. And for pretty shit company, from what I've heard from some people and stuff, I'm not going to pledge my opinion behind it and stuff. You heard it from Adam. Adam told me.
Allegedly.
So I think that the fact that they're just like throwing these imaginary numbers around on like basically like I'm going to do this thing, and then it's not. I don't think they're bound to it legally either, right? Like
yeah.
they can
talking shit.
And then it was like the same thing with like the Trump dinner where he's just saying how much Mark are you going to invest in the U.S. and he says $600 billion, and it was like, is that the number you wanted to hear? Is on a hot mic, it was leaked. He says, I didn't know you were going to ask me that. Is that the number you wanted to hear?
Nice.
And Tim Cook said 600 billion too. They're all like, I'm going to give them just America so many jobs. This is the most jobs, and it's because this guy. And he was like, please give me like a tariff like loophole for me to have.
Right.
So my company doesn't fucking go bankrupt, basically. We're not going to give any of this money.
I fucking love that. And then just like values created out of nowhere, dollar signs out of nowhere.
And then just, you know, a bunch of people are looking at their portfolio because these are S&P 500 and NASDAQ things that are people broadly just indexed into.
Seen it go up.
And they're just, wow, dude, I fucking love that.
Right.
I love money.
Oh, I do like money. If only I had enough to buy a house.
Oh, dude, just like a plot of land somewhere with like a Jayco trailer on it.
Oof.
Maybe like a well.
No, we can't be that greedy.
Right.
These dreams are very greedy.
So yeah, Destiny should go to jail, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Should we lighten up the mood?
Yeah.
So this is mixed into politics. Who would each SpongeBob character vote for? This is by Stickman Talks. This is the end of his video.
I'm now going to pivot a bit and have some fun by attempting to map out how the major characters of SpongeBob may have voted in the 2024 election. I'm sure this won't cause any controversy whatsoever. Let's get into it. Mapping out the politics of our major characters. Before we begin, I want to make something clear. A few of our main characters do have criminal records. In real life, in the vast majority of the US, this would result in them losing the right to vote. For the purpose of this part of the video, I'm ignoring that, largely because I also doubt Bikini Bottom would have the same rules for voting as our world. Anyway.
Also, it's only felonies, I believe. So if they were locked up for things that weren't felonious, then they might be good to vote.
Anyways, let's get into it. First up, let's talk about SpongeBob. Based on everything in the show, SpongeBob seems to me like an idealistic liberal. He's optimistic, cares about community, follows the rules, and believes in civic duty, all of which are traits typically associated with liberal, worker-aligned voters. If he could have voted in 2024, it's very likely he would have voted for Kamala Harris, in my opinion. Next up, let's talk about SpongeBob's best friend forever, Patrick. Patrick is probably the funniest character in the entire show, and his humor largely comes from his stupidity. He's often depicted as naive and disengaged, and this would likely translate to how he votes.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
I think so.
Rather, not votes. My guess is that Patrick Star wouldn't have voted in the 2024 election.
He wouldn't know how to vote. For sure. There would be like a Patrick tries to vote episode.
He'd get lost.
Oh my God, dude. He just doesn't do anything. Like he commits voter fraud accidentally.
Totally.
If he had to vote, he probably would have just followed the crowd and voted for Trump. I don't think there's too much free thinking going on up there. Continuing on the same block of houses, let's now touch on Squidward, who's an interesting case. The best description I can give to Squidward is that he's somewhat of a disillusioned liberal or an elitist moderate. He's extremely cynical, culturally elitist as seen by his love for the arts and music, and dislikes both SpongeBob's joy and naivete as well as Mr. Krabs' greed. So it's tough to say exactly where Squidward would fit given his combination of cultural elitism and holding a blue-collar job. Because of this, I'm going to guess Squiddy would have bounced back and forth between Harris and Trump, and possibly ended up voting independent. Let's now quickly touch on their boss, Mr. Krabs. As we've already covered, Mr. Krabs is certainly a money-loving capitalist. He's all about profit, he's anti-workers' rights, and he resists regulation, which are all classic right-wing capitalist traits. He almost certainly would have voted for Trump in 2024.
Oh, dude, MAGA Mr. Krabs for sure.
Oh yeah, the hat will look so good on him.
Would never have done so, not in a million years. As we've already touched on, Plankton is likely a leftist or something close to it. He is constantly trying to tear down Mr. Krabs' monopoly. monopoly. If he had voted in 2024, Plankton almost certainly would have voted third party. I'm thinking someone like Cornel West. Now let's touch on some characters
Classic
we haven't
Plankton.
talked about in this video. First up, Sandy Cheeks. An immigrant to Bikini Bottom from Texas, Sandy
An immigrant.
is extremely smart and very tech-oriented. It's clear she's individualistic, pro-science, and independent-minded. To me, she kind of fits the bill as a libertarian type, but could have voted for Trump given that he was backed by people like Elon Musk. 3 more characters
She's from
to go
Texas.
here. Pearl is Mr. Krabs' daughter, and she's probably the best representation of Gen Z progressivism we have in the show. She is a socially conscious and socially aware teenager/young adult. Given that Pearl turns 16 in the season 4 episode Whale of a Birthday, she very likely would be old enough to vote in the 2024 election, depending on how time works down there. She's probably the most obvious Kamala Harris voter out of the entire cast. The show also gets in its share of Jim Bro culture as well with Larry the Lobster.
Yeah.
Larry is obsessed with bodybuilding, beach culture, and his overall physical image. He's more into lifestyle than politics, but there were plenty of voters like that in 2024 as well. Culturally, Larry leans right because of his love for fitness and competitiveness, and I believe that would have translated into his vote in 2024, as he would have viewed Trump as the quote-unquote tough guy candidate. Finally, let's talk about Mrs. Puff. This will be an especially quick one. Mrs. Puff seems resigned to the system and extremely cynical given her hatred for her job, but she is likely liberal.
Yeah.
She is jaded, disillusioned, and stuck in a broken system, though. I believe she would have leaned Democrat in 2024, but overall would have been relatively disengaged from the whole process. That is where we stand in terms of the political beliefs of the characters of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Dude, fun.
I like it. Wait, what the fuck does he talk about for the 20 other minutes in this video?
Just different things about like capitalism and environment and stuff in this, and like he just doesn't talk about the politics of literally the title of the video is at the end.
The whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's just different shit. So I just like I watched the video and put it at the end because I was like, that's where it is. That's
You saved us 21 minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's get more
When I
SpongeBob.
think of SpongeBob SquarePants and why it works so well, my mind doesn't go to SpongeBob. In fact, it goes to the other characters, like the random fish,
Not at all, boy!
Patrick Star,
Rectangles!
or most of all, the series main antagonist, Squidward Tentacles.
I have no soul.
Now, many might say that Plankton was the antagonist of the show, or even that there was no antagonist at all. But Squidward is very similar to some of the great antagonists in television or film history, such as the Joker or Syndrome from The Incredibles, because of his relationship to the protagonist. Squidward, like the Joker or Syndrome, pushes the protagonist's limits, attacking their weaknesses and challenging their goals
Dude,
with
Squidward's just like the Joker.
their own conflicting ones. So let's take a look at why Squidward isn't only the main antagonist in SpongeBob SquarePants, but also the most perfect antagonist in television history.
Ooh. Okay. With the nose like that.
The antagonistic force is made clear early on. Something that the very best antagonists have in common is their antagonistic force is made very clear or foreshadowed from the very start.
Just repeating
For example,
himself.
in The Incredibles, the villain Syndrome is introduced early on as a child.
Right.
Or the Joker from The Dark Knight, who is introduced in the very first scene of the film.
Of course.
Squidward is no different. In the very first minute
He's a
of the
main
first
character.
episode of the SpongeBob SquarePants pilot, Squidward's antagonistic force is introduced with masterful yet subtle execution. The intentional showcase of his house in between SpongeBob and Patrick's home foreshadows the antagonist, Squidward's goal of getting in the way of the protagonist, SpongeBob, and his final goal of Patrick.
Dude, I wish you guys could see Adam's face more than anything on this. Because I've already watched this video and I'm already just laughing. Adam is so confused. Like he wants to get to fucking Patrick. Like what?
Star.
Wants that-
Keep this in the back
that
of your
star.
mind because we'll get there.
Put that in the back of your mind. We'll get there.
A great antagonist pushes the protagonist. Another thing that separates the good and the bad antagonists is their ability to push or challenge the ideology of the protagonist. SpongeBob and Squidward are ideological opposites. Squidward is jaded, pessimistic,
We're doomed!
but also realistic.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? That's it, dude.
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
Where SpongeBob is innocent,
Squidward smells good.
optimistic, yet naive. Squidward is constantly pushing SpongeBob's naive and childlike ideology. Take, for example, in Pizza Delivery, where Squidward pushes SpongeBob's beliefs to their limits by questioning SpongeBob's willingness to put the customer above everything else.
Will you let go of that stupid pizza already?
I can't, it's for the customer.
Who cares about the customer?
I do.
Well, I don't.
Oh, Squidward.
This elevates the story because SpongeBob's core ideology was pushed to its absolute limits. The antagonist must be complex. The reason why
Dude, Adam's just looking at this like, what the fuck did John give us here? Why are we watching this?
my mind goes to Squidward when I think of an exceptional antagonist is because Squidward is such a complex one. The reason why having
It's like the worst video essay you've ever seen.
a complex antagonist makes the story work so much better is outlined perfectly by Robert McKee's book, Story, Style, Structure, Substance, and the Principles of Screenwriting. The more powerful and complex the forces of antagonist opposing the character, the more completely realized the character and story must become. And the complexities of Squidward's
Dude, Adam's face.
antagonism can fully be understood when looking at it through the lens of the positive versus the negative in the protagonist and the antagonist. And the SpongeBob episode Dying for Pie is the perfect example of Squidward representing the negative to SpongeBob. At first glance, this may seem as simple as this chart, where SpongeBob represents the positive, love, whereas Squidward represents the negative force of the chart, which is hate. However, Squidward's antagonist
You gotta be more vocal, Adam. No one can hear your face.
is not as simple as this, and Squidward's antagonistic force in this episode can be better represented by this chart. Courtesy of the author Gilbert Bassey and his article, The Ultimate Guide to Creating Compelling Antagonism in Fiction. SpongeBob still represents love here, but Squidward's complex antagonistic force can be seen within all of the other boxes. For instance, Squidward shows a false negative indifference towards SpongeBob's gift near the beginning when he says,
"I'll buy the little twerp a gumball."
After Squidward believes he has killed SpongeBob, he tricks even the audience that he cares for SpongeBob by saying he wants to spend the day with him, when in reality, he just wants a front row ticket to watch SpongeBob explode. So, this would be the double negative, or hate disguised as love. Finally, when Squidward finds out SpongeBob is going to live, Squidward finally returns to pure negative, which is hate for SpongeBob.
Now it's your turn.
That's not what I meant, you barnacle head!
Now, we have established what
Dude,
makes an
Adam's
antagonist
just so
complex, but
confused.
something that makes a great antagonist is how
I
good
feel like everything's a stretch.
Yeah, everything's such a stretch for sure.
they are at
He's cherry
attacking.
picking everything, and like in his previous example, he's just like intentionally dumbing down SpongeBob to pure positive, but whatever.
Protagonist's greatest weakness. SpongeBob, like Mr. Incredible, is overly
It's like the same B-roll.
emotional and has an irrationally annoying love
I've seen that crying sweater, like the sweater made of tears, like 4 times.
he's close to, which is actually one of both of their greatest character traits. However, the
more
antagonists
Syndrome?
in their respective stories, Syndrome and
was
Squidward,
introduced
are
young.
skilled at attacking that. For example, in the same episode we looked at before, Dying for Pie, SpongeBob goes out of his way to make Squidward a homemade gift, which was a sweater made from his own eyelashes. Squidward swiftly and calculatedly rejects SpongeBob, leaving him an absolute wreck. Squidward uses one of SpongeBob's greatest strengths, which is his love for people, including Squidward, and he turns it into a weakness because Squidward doesn't fear death. In fact, he welcomes it in this scene.
Here, please hit me as hard as you can.
Squidward, I'm working in the kitchen.
Could just be his kink.
Don't hold back.
This affinity for death makes the sponge sad because he loves his friends
And just the
so
sweater
dearly
again.
and doesn't want to see him go seconds. John Truby, in his book, The End of the Story, outlines a simple that shows the importance of showing a character's weakness in a story. W times A equals C, where W stands for weaknesses, both
Yes,
psychological
John
and moral.
Truby.
A represents the struggle to accomplish the basic action in the middle of the story, and C stands for the changed person. Weakness times action equals change, or WAC for short. It can be seen in Dying for Pie, but taken a step
The
further.
same episode
In
he
Dying for
keeps
Pie,
talking about,
SpongeBob's
Dying for
strength,
Pie.
which is his love for
Calculate the
Squidward,
whack off quotient. Do you take the derivative of whack?
Yeah, no, you have to you have to see how much, and then you get a new acronym called CUM, and it's just complete and utter masterpiece.
Nice.
is actually turned into the W in this equation, or his weakness, only because the antagonist Squidward turned it into one. And that weakness times the A, or the struggle to accomplish the basic action of trying to connect with Squidward, equals C, which is a changed sponge that can blow bubbles that explode and doesn't fear death himself. This is a prime example of this whack theory.
Sure.
No, dude, what about the time where they were talking about the iron butt? You remember that?
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Now, remember when we talked about Squidward's introduction to
How
the
could I
series with
forget?
his house foreshadowing how he will come in between SpongeBob and his ultimate goal of Patrick?
Yeah, come
Well,
on.
this represents Squidward's constant attempts throughout the series at getting between SpongeBob and his ultimate goal of rain from SpongeBob's relationship with Patrick Star. Coming between SpongeBob and his ultimate goal of Patrick? Well, this represents Squidward's constant attempts throughout the series at getting between SpongeBob and his ultimate goal of having a romantic relationship with Patrick Star. For instance, in this scene, Squidward interrupts Patrick from getting brain from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing that?
And if you need any more proof, here's a scene basically spelling out Squidward's horrible
You got trolled the
views on
whole time,
homosexuality.
dude. You fucking.
I hate gay people.
Out Squidward's horrible views on homosexuality.
I hate gay people.
Squidward's house being
What?
in between SpongeBob and Patrick's represents Squidward
No wonder
getting in
my mom
between
didn't
the
want me to
protagonist's
watch this
ultimate goal
show.
of being in a loving relationship. In the great story, there needs to be a goal that reflects the philosophy and desire of the antagonist. And if the protagonist is only trying
You have to get like 8
to
minutes
defeat
in.
the antagonist because they are evil, then the story lacks depth. But SpongeBob and Squidward have conflicting goals and ideologies, which make it very fascinating to watch. This fascination comes from there being more on the line, just like in the episode Pizza Delivery, like I mentioned before. This dynamic is present in another great antagonist in one of television's greatest dramas, Breaking Bad. In that show, Holly, the antagonist, pushes Walter, the protagonist, to his limit by targeting Walt's greatest weakness, which is his pride. In this scene, Holly forces Walt to
Wait, and the baby is into.
swallow his pride by soiling herself on purpose in order to challenge Walter's ideology. And it has come to my attention, thanks to a YouTube comment, that this scene was entirely improvised and unscripted, which makes it, and the performance of the actors, ever the more brilliant. So these two scenes from SpongeBob and Breaking Bad mirror one another. They both have their antagonists challenging their protagonists. In Batman, it's the soul of Gotham that's on the line. And in Breaking Bad, it's how far will a man go to maintain his pride. And in Barnyard, it is the well-being of the farm's citizens in a battle of chaos versus order in Otis versus Snotty Boy.
That's called boy tipping.
But in SpongeBob, it's whether or not SpongeBob and Patrick will end up happy together, or will Squidward's evil antagonistic force prevail. This natural conflict makes Squidward more real and less of a cutout, or a simple force in the protagonist's way. It humanizes Squidward because it highlights the flaws he has while trying to accomplish his even more ideologically flawed goal. The antagonist must do more than give the hero something to do. They need to not only be focused on their goal, but have a reason they want to accomplish it in the first place. An antagonist must have a reason to accomplish their goals. Even though the antagonist's goal is an evil one, like Squidward's, it's important for a story that the antagonist have a reason to achieve this goal. Syndrome's reason for trying to make everyone super was because he had a hatred for superheroes stemming from his relationship with Mr. Incredible. Stems from a homophobic tendency that was picked up in the episode Artist Unknown, when this homosexual fish denied his artwork.
How about this one? I call it bold and brash.
More like belongs in my ass.
When we start to delve deeper into the character of
This
Squidward
homosexual
Tentacles, the pure
fish.
feeling brilliance of the writing is revealed. Because who else in history had his artwork denied and was extremely homophobic? Yes, I am referring to the infamous antagonist of the world, Adolf Hitler. It's impossible to unsee once noticed. The depression, the homophobia in Squidward, and failure as an artist exactly mirrors that of Adolf Hitler. The similarities between the two
Once you
antagonists
say it.
don't stop there. They both had big noses.
Okay.
They both killed themselves.
What?
And the episode The Red Mist, it's canon, but they tried to cover it up because they were unsure about letting the audience know that Squidward is literally Hitler. Squidward and Hitler both wanted to live in gentrified society, and I know he wanted to leave, but I mean, if Hitler got what he wanted, he probably would have gotten sick of it as well. And look what happens when you scramble the letters of Squidward.
That's insane.
Wait, did you catch that? Let's go frame by frame to get a closer look and analyze this scene from the episode Bubble Stand. As you can see, perfectly clear, Squidward morphs his body into the shape of a swastika.
There it
this
is.
isn't an objective indication of the creator's subjective intentions. I don't know what is.
Oh, dude, is this
why
what
the
John
creators of
Truby was
SpongeBob
talking
have
about?
moved to mostly torturing Squidward in the recent episodes, because they're trying to give some retribution. Squidward deserves the infinite torture, just like Hitler. Now, I get some criticism for not addressing the critics of my arguments enough on this channel, and I get it. So, many might argue that Squidward wasn't Hitler, because Squidward wasn't evil. However, I would like to prove that Squidward was the epitome of evil with one simple scene. Here, Squidward tries putting a lemon into his tea, and as we know from the series episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, every villain is lemons. And when Squidward tried to put the lemon into his drink, Squidward was so evil that the lemon tried attacking him, knowing that he needed to be stopped. Some people may say that Squidward was the best part of SpongeBob because they can relate or empathize with him. And empathizing with a character is important. John Truby, the author of the story, has this to say about empathizing with the character. To empathize with someone means to care about and understand him. That's why the trick to keeping the audience's interest in a character, even when the character is not likable or is taking immoral actions, is to show the audience the hero's motive.
Dude, I want to make a video essay like this. This is so funny.
That is pretty great.
It's just more Hitler stuff.
Yes, John Cherubi, author of The Anatomy of Story, 22 Steps to Becoming a Master Storyteller.
No, just having those sorts of cutaways in the video.
Right, that's so good.
That was great.
Just bring up random authors no one has ever heard of.
Yeah, dude. No one's read The Anatomy of Story by John Cherubi.
Just bring up the cum equation.
Yeah, you could just... It's not what John Cherubi said. Or it is. Who knows, dude? Read the book.
This goes against John Truby's third law.
Yeah, the third law of John Truby. Thou shalt not go to the island unless you want to see what goes on at the island.
Exactly.
It's the Vegas of islands. What happens at the island stays at the island unless there's a 28,000 page indictment that's being held back by the fucking powers that be.
Dude, what if all that footage on the island of islands is just like on a random Yandex page?
The probability of that?
Non-zero.
Non-zero, for
right?
sure.
Non-zero.
Should we just end it there?
Non-zero.
Non-zero. See you later. Thanks for listening to the All Serious Subjects podcast. If this got you going, got you off, or even thinking, hit the like button, share it, subscribe. Drop a comment down below if you want us to talk about something. We're listening. Stay tuned, and we'll be here. Until next time. Bye.